What's up, guys? Here I am again. Just wanted to have a little chat today. I can't work because I've got this nasty cough still and I can't be coughing over clients in the clinic. So I have some time to be making some more videos. Husband's just gone to work again, and when I suggested I was going to do this today, he said, well, why don't you go and edit some of the stuff we've already got, because there's plenty of that. And I said, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. And now he's gone to work, I'm like, I've got things to say, I want to do this, so I'm going to get into it. When I first started running back when I was 39 years old, I had not really done a stick of exercise in my life, apart from joining a few gyms and going maybe for the first 2 weeks over a period of about 15 years before that. I'd never done any exercise. I drank red wine. I smoked cigarettes. And I'd always watch my husband going off for his run. He was always a runner. If he wasn't running, he was umpiring football, he was playing sport, he was playing golf, he was doing something. I sat at home with the kids and wasn't really interested in doing anything. I sewed, I did a bit of gardening, and I did some crafty stuff, but that was my outlet. I wasn't into the sport thing. But anyway, one day I decided that I was done watching the bags at the end of marathons. So we'd go to the start of a marathon, we'd see him off, he'd go and do his run, and then I'd have the two kids and we'd sit and we'd wait. Now, back then it was taking him 3.5 hours plus to do a marathon. So that's a lot of waiting with two little children. Is that Daddy? Is that Daddy? Maybe that's Daddy. Runners all look the same. So from about, I don't know, the first finishers on, you know, we were sort of hanging around waiting for him. So anyway, one day I decided, right, enough of that. You can hold the bags for a while and mind the kids. I'm going out running. So I did the Couch to 5K program a couple of times. I say a couple of times because it didn't always work for me. I'd get into it and then it'd get too hard. Life would get in the way. I didn't like being sweaty. I didn't like being hot. You know, all those things for new runners that can be obstacles for you. Yeah, so it took me a couple of goes, but then one day I started it on a holiday up at the Sunshine Coast in the middle of winter, and I kept going. And at the same time, a few weeks later, parkrun was starting up here, and my husband said, okay, come on, we're going to this parkrun, you're running now. I couldn't run 5K. I was still halfway through the 5K program. But I went along and I was really nervous and really scared because I thought, oh God, this is a running event. There's real runners there. They're going to be speedy. I'm going to look stupid. All those things. And I got there and I can't actually remember the day, really. I remember not being intimidated. I remember getting there and relaxing that there were other people who were walking. There were people with little children. There were people who were older than me. There were people that were bigger than me. The people that were smaller than me. People that were faster than me or slower than me. There was lots of other people. And they were all just there to do the same thing as me. So I started to relax in that, and we went every week. And I was the first park runner of the month at the local park run. So I was pretty chuffed with that because to me that was like a sporting award. And I look back at it and I think it's very funny because it was, you know, judged on turning up, volunteering rate, your PB's an improvement. So obviously I was coming from nothing, so my PBs were every week. Yada yada. But the point of the matter was I was accepted into something that I never thought I'd be accepted into. Anyway, fast forward a couple of years, not many, and I decided that I liked the look of triathlon. Don't know why. I had a friend, actually I do know why. I had a friend who kept saying, come and do a try, come and do a try. And I was like, oh, I don't do tries, that's too scary. I don't ride a bike. Ugh, I haven't been on a bike for years. I don't swim. Ugh. And she was like, come and do tries, come and do tries. Anyway, one day I'm like, why not? I might go do a try. So I did my first triathlon. I did a couple short ones, got into Olympic distance. I was slow, you know, I was back of the packer, plodding along. Looked a treat in my tight little red tri-suit, I'll tell you that. The photos of that, oh my gosh. But I was out there doing it and I got it done. And I used to have people say to me, you know, so what's your next event? And I'm like, I've decided I'm going to do a half Ironman. And they're like, oh, you're going to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I didn't care about time. I was just there participating. Maybe I was being naive, I don't know. But to me, it was just about getting it done because I knew where I'd come from. And to me, that was huge. Anyway, so I did my first half Ironman. A couple of months later, I had someone in the clinic and they said to me, I'm thinking about doing an Olympic distance triathlon, but I don't know if I can do it or not, and I'm not really sure, and all the things. And this person was such a fast runner, so much faster than I could ever imagine being. Such an athletic person. Eating well, cross training, going to the gym. This person was like my epitome of health and fitness. And I said, "Oh, Pottsville's a nice event. I did that one." And she's like, "Really?" And I said, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. You'll be good. In my head, this is how it played out. She looked at me and went, "Oh my God, if she can do it, I can do it." And that's really what I was thinking. If I could do it, anyone could do it. But she needed someone to tell her that. So anyway, that was a big tick for me. I did a half Ironman. I actually did it twice, and I'd do it again. It doesn't really faze me that I don't get particularly faster from year to year. It's a nice little quiet event, that one, and I just enjoy it. But I haven't been on my bike for a while. I'm a bit road shy, and it's one of those things, the longer I leave it, the harder it is to get back on the bike. But I will do that. But at the moment, running is my priority. So I guess the moral of this is my first 5K was like, oh my God, I'll never get to 5K. And I got to 5K. My first 10K was the same. My first half marathon, I've got a Facebook post of my watch up in the screen like this. I was so proud of myself because I made myself do a half marathon around the streets a couple of weeks before the event that I was registered in to do my first official half marathon. And my time was like 2 hours and 45 minutes, or it was even more than that, I think. And I was so proud of that. I was showing the world. And my caption for it was something like, "Booyah, take that half marathon distance." And in my head, it was a big win. Now, when I look back on it, I look at it and I think, oh, that's a bit embarrassing because that wasn't very fast. And, oh, that's a bit embarrassing because, oh, there's a lot of people that, would look at that and go, oh, my God, that's not really running it. You must have walked some of that. And I probably did. But I don't care what people thought. In my head, I smashed it, man. And so that's my point. Things like Kangaroo Island Marathon. We went and did this extraordinary event. Down off Adelaide, there's an island called Kangaroo Island, and they have this marathon that I think they've changed the course this year, but it runs through the national park, and it was just insane. It was a road marathon. I was out there alone for most of it because being back of the packer, like all the speedies took off and it was just kind of me. But it's got these hills on it that you can see like 8 kilometres ahead to the crest of the hill. And then you get to the top of the hill and then you can see, 8 kilometres. It's just the vision of it is pretty insane. The coastal scenery down there is amazing. But anyway, I think unfortunately they've moved the location of that out of the national park now. So I'm really fortunate that I've had a chance to do that. But that was an awesome time away. We would never go to a place like that normally. Not that there's anything wrong with places like that, but it's like the boutique food scene or whatever, I don't know. We're not really cold climate people, so I don't think we would have sought out that holiday if there wasn't an event there. And we really enjoyed it. We had a great time. We saw a part of the world that we wouldn't normally see. And we got to run in this spectacular national park. So that's a huge life experience for me. Another thing I did that I never would have done if I hadn't pushed myself past my limits was UTA in Katoomba this year. Like that was, to me, that was insane. I still talk about it. I've gone through the footage recently on the computer and it brings back these memories of, suffering. But it was spectacular and it was just so out of the normal. It was an adventure. Like I found that to be an adventure. It was an organised event. We couldn't have possibly got lost. It was a very well marked event. It wasn't an adventure in that sense. For me, it was a big adventure because it was so challenging and it was a cold climate and, it was a longer event than I'd ever done. It was 50K and I know for a lot of people that's, minuscule, but for a lot of people that's massive. And for me, it was massive. And so getting that done was amazing. And I guess my whole point with all of this is don't settle, people. Don't settle because you're scared. Don't settle because you've got a voice in your head that says, what if I fail? People are going to think I'm stupid. It's okay to get out there. It's like me with this video, right? I'm a middle-aged woman. I know nothing about technology. I've only just started watching YouTube in the last, 3 to 6 months. And I follow all these trail runners on YouTube and I love it. I just love it. And I want to be part of that community. But
I don't feel like I've got much to offer. And this is something that a few of my friends have commented, that I have inspired them by telling my story. So I thought, oh well, what's to lose? I'll tell my story.
All right, guys, that's all I've got to say. Sorry it's been a bit of a sermon. Just don't be afraid. If you want to get into a sport, if you want to start running, if you want to, go off-road and start doing trails, if you want to change your job or start a business and you don't know where to start, do some research online. Go and talk to someone who's already doing it. Confide in a friend. There's lots of ways you can do those little things every day just to work your way towards your goal. Time to go and have a bit of a rest now.